Hello, my name is Anthony Weiner, and welcome back to another episode of whatever this is we're doing to keep you up to date on my race for New York City Council here in New York City, and also touch on some of the issues, deal with some of your questions. So yesterday was 420, so there was a lot of conversation around marijuana, the big gathering over at Washington Square Park, basically took over the park with people smoking marijuana. And I want to have a little bit of a conversation about this because it's emerged as an issue in the city council race that I'm running in here in Lower Manhattan. Let me just tell you, for one thing, I'm not coming at this as like a guy saying, hey, get off my lawn, or some kind of philosophical problem with marijuana per se. I think it was absolutely the right thing to do for New York City, for New York State, rather, to decriminalize small amounts of marijuana. Marijuana was being used as the pretext for tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of mostly black and brown men to be stopped by the police, had their pockets turned over, found a little bit of marijuana, and they were put through the system. It was a real problem. The conversation around stop and frisk was largely that's what police were looking for. So I think decriminalizing marijuana, small amounts of marijuana, possession of marijuana was the right thing to do. The problem was created when the state legislature, in a wildly chaotic way, basically took New York State and put us in the business of marijuana. We created a system to license marijuana stores, to open them, to tax them, and the like. The problem was, for any residents of New York know this, it was utterly chaotic because there was no effort made to stop illegal guys from opening up. There was no enforcement mechanism that was created. They took away the authority from the NYPD and gave it to this Cannabis Control Commission that was unprepared to do the job. And what happened was we had an explosion of illegal marijuana shops all around New York City. It's gotten a little bit better as they've tried to fix the law, but even then, they gave it to I think it's the sheriff of the city of New York has the authority to kind of crack down on these things. And so a lot of them still operate. But more importantly, our relationship with this vice, with this drug use, has changed dramatically. And that now, although you're not supposed to, there's marijuana smoking being done on streets, all over the parks. There's marijuana sales going on everywhere. People just opening up card tables and saying, I'm going to sell marijuana here. The police don't really have a good handle on what their responsibility is supposed to be in enforcing it. They were largely told by the state to back out of it. And this has created a chaotic circumstance where you have marijuana seemingly everywhere in New York City. Again, I'm not coming at this as some kind of a curmudgeon, but from the quality of life challenge that we have in New York City, the sense of disorder, this has really added to it. And I think we need to do a couple of things. One, I think we need to maybe put a hold on the entire system that we've rolled out here. But I also think that we need to make it much clearer who's responsible for doing what, and that the NYPD certainly can issue summonses, move people along, get them out of our parks. Whole parts of Washington Square Park, Tompkins Square Park, just about every park now is dedicated to people who are selling, smoking, and doing these and otherwise doing things that are nominally illegal, but the NYPD doesn't quite know how to handle it. And second of all, I think we need to take a little bit of a step back here. We have, as kind of just slowly but surely, changed our relationship with vice and kind of gone into more and more business. We saw it with marijuana. We see it with legal gambling. Just in, maybe it's my struggles with addiction. Maybe it's the fact that my brother Seth, of blessed memory, he had struggles and marijuana was his gateway drug. I think generally speaking that we have this notion that, okay, we can go from 0 to 100 in terms of our relationship with this thing. And I think it's caused some real problems. Now, how does this become a city council race issue? Well, frankly, one of my opponents was a state legislator who created this program, and I think bears some responsibility for how wildly off the tracks it's become. But secondly, I think that it gets back to this idea of, like, you can have a libertarian vibe to you, but ultimately you want our streets to be safe, places that you can walk with your kid. You want to be able to sit down in a park and not have to breathe marijuana smoke everywhere. And also, I don't know if our neighborhood shopping strips are better because you have legal, illegal, all kinds of pot shops have sprung up, all kinds of neighborhood bodegas who have marijuana being sold behind the counter. I think we need to slam the brakes, at least on this headlong thrust that we've been in around this. And we need to acknowledge This was a mess that was created by a Democratic state legislature with a Democratic governor, and now it's a Democratic mayor and a Democratic city council. We can't blame the legislation fairy for this. This was created by us, and I think we've got to manage this problem a lot better. Am I the only one talking about this on the campaign trail? Yeah. I've got four opponents, I think. I'm the only one who's kind of made this kind of a thing. And again, someone wants to say, "Oh my goodness, you're killing my buzz," or whatever the thing is. No, I just think that all of us, one of the progressive values that we all share is respect for our common spaces. And that's certainly gotten disrupted. AnthonyWeiner.com. You can reach out to me at awiener@anthonyweiner.com, and I'll try to keep you posted on more issues on the campaign trail. If you want to see what I propose about this and other things, you can go to my website, and there's 25 ideas for 2025. Check it out. Tell me what you think.